Joshua Cox once said, "Dads hold their hands for a little while, but they hold their hearts forever." Growing up, I've always had a great relationship with my dad, and now that I'm older, nothing has changed. My dad has always made it a priority to have a good, strong relationship with my sister and I. I've always been a daddy's little girl. I did everything with my dad, from wrestling to just hanging out. My dad has always been that one person that I've always looked up to. There are many things that make my dad special to me, but the things that stand out to me the most is he's always taught me to be strong and to always protect myself. He's helped me keep a good, strong relationship with God, and he's always been that one person that I could talk to about my problems, and he's always been that one person whenever I needed a shoulder to cry on. People come and go every day, but if there's one person who remains consistent in my life, it is my dad. Being strong can be a struggle when growing up, but when you have that constant reassurance that you are capable of doing things that you didn't think you could do, is great. My dad is that one person that gives me that constant reassurance that I'm capable of doing things, and that I will be strong, and that I can do anything and whatever I believe in. There are things that I excel at, and there are things that I fail at, but that's what makes me who I am today. When people tear me down with words, my dad is always the first person to tell me, "They didn't make you, so why let them break you?" My dad has always taught me to stand strong in whatever I believe in, and to never just go with the flow because that's what everyone else is doing. Growing up, I have watched my siblings go through lots of good and bad experiences, but not once have I never seen my dad lift them up or support them in the right direction or correct them when they're in the wrong. Being strong is something my dad has instilled in me since I was a little girl. Another thing he has instilled in me is a great relationship with God. Having a relationship with God is not always easy, but it's something that I've taken very serious. My dad has taken me to church since I was a little girl. My grandpa was a pastor, so I was very involved with the church when I was younger. My parents were the youth pastors, so I was always around kids who loved God. Every day before I'd go to bed, my dad would read me the Bible. And now it's just a natural habit for me to read the Bible before I go to bed. Sometimes if I'm having a late night, I'll read it in the morning, or sometimes I'll do a daily devotion. And for those of you who don't know what a daily devotion, it is where it's like a mini message, but there's like certain things that you can talk about, but the things that I focus on is my relationship with God. And I learn things every week about Him. I go to church every Sunday morning at Tabernacle of M46, and later on that day we go to youth group. And youth group is a place where our youth pastor gives us a message that is more towards kids my age. Another way that my dad helps me keep a good, strong relationship with God is he's always making sure that I'm paying attention and taking notes during church, which I always do because he always quizzes us on our way home about what we learned. Even though my dad has taught me to keep a good, strong relationship with God, he's also always been there for me whenever I needed a shoulder to cry on or someone to talk my problems with. Since day one, my dad has been there for me no matter what. He's always been that number one supporter. Whenever I'm playing sports, if I play good or if I play bad, my dad is still there cheering me on, and he's always making sure that I'm having fun. My dad tells me how it is. He corrects me when correction is needed. From finding a good running pace when running cross country, to putting more arc on my shot, or playing better defense during basketball games. My dad has always taught me to keep a good attitude no matter what, win or lose. But by the end of the night, after my cross country meet or after my basketball game, my dad is still there cheering. My dad, after my basketball game, after my cross country meet, no matter what time I ran or how many shots I made, my dad would always tell me I played great, even when sometimes I didn't. Whenever I'm sick and I couldn't make it to school, my dad would always make sure that he takes the day off so he can take care of me and make sure that I'm okay. And whenever I'm running a high fever, my dad would always buy me my favorite popsicles, the red, white, and blue ones. And for some reason, he'd always buy me a bunch of grapefruits because for some reason, whenever I'm sick, that's all I ever want to eat. Even when I can be a moody brat, my dad still loves me. Lastly, he's always there for me whenever I need advice. It could be about school, siblings, or even my boyfriend. He is still there to listen to me talk and gives me the best advice back. Remaining in someone's life is difficult, but not for my dad. A lot of people have huge impacts on others, but for me, my dad has had the greatest influence on my life. My dad has always meant a lot to me because he's always taught me to be strong and to always protect myself. He's helped me keep a good, strong relationship with God by instilling things in me since I was a little girl, and him being a great role model himself with his own walk of God. And lastly, my dad has always given me his love and affection whenever it's needed. Through good or bad times, my dad still loves me. There are many reasons that make my dad special to me, but those are just my top 3. I can honestly say my dad will always hold my heart. As I continue to grow, I'll always be a daddy's little girl.